Hey everyone, I'm Somnath, and welcome back to Dollar Sense, the channel where we talk about real-world money truths they don't teach in school. Today I want to share a powerful idea that could change the way you see your job, your paycheck, and even your daily routine. Because here's the harsh truth. Most people will spend their entire lives working hard and still stay broke, not because they're lazy, but because they're stuck in a system that was never built for financial freedom. So if you've ever felt like you were doing everything right and still going nowhere, this video's for you.
Imagine this.
You have one of those 9-to-5 jobs. Every month for 40 good days, you work hard, hustle every day, put in the hours, and then bam, payday. Your paycheck hits your bank account, and life is great for a few days until it all starts again the following month. For most people, this cycle continues for years, even decades. And that's why I want to share with you for reasons why most people stay in the rat race and how you can escape it. Alright, reason no. 1. Why most people stay in the rat race. Point no. 1 is the trap of monthly paychecks. Now let me explain what I mean by that. Most people believe that if they get paid every month, that must be a good thing, because that means every month I'll have money coming in. But what they do and realize is that monthly paychecks are designed to keep you trapped and keep you working for money. You see, when you're employed, someone else controls your time and how much money you make. And so when you rely on that person or that company to pay you every month, you become financially dependent on them. And what happens when you become financially dependent? Well, you lose your ambition, that motivation and drive to learn new things and take risks, because now you've got this safety net of this monthly paycheck coming in. Because of that, you start to feel safe. In fact, studies show that only 1 in 20 people will ever escape the rat race. And it doesn't mean that the other 19 are lazy or stupid. It's just that, after some time, the comfort that that paycheck brings can cause us to get complacent. We start to enjoy the comfort of our small cage rather than breaking out of it. Let me ask you a question. What would happen if you didn't get paid for the rest of the year? How long could you survive? For most people, that would be like less than 2 months. They'd be forced to find another job, another source of income. But for the employed, that same question carries a different answer. If I didn't get paid for the rest of the year, I'd be fine. Why? Because I've got my monthly paychecks coming in. Because of that, I'm not really forced to change. Let's think about that for a second. The vast majority of people are comfortable being uncomfortable. Being stuck in traffic, being stuck at a job they hate, being stuck in a relationship that no longer serves them. Why do you think that is? Well, here's why. The human brain adapts to its environment. And so what we once felt was very challenging. Over time, we've become somewhat numb to it. And that is why we need to rewire ourselves and condition ourselves to be able to tolerate more discomfort. Because the truth is, the more discomfort we can handle now, the more choices and opportunities we'll have later. Okay, reason no. 2. Why most people stay in the rat race. Point no. 2 is comfort is the enemy of growth. Listen, when you've got a job that pays the bills, that pays the rent, you might feel a sense of security. But that feeling of security can trick you into thinking you're actually safe. And the problem with that is that feeling of safety is an illusion. Because there's always going to be something that happens that will force you outside of your comfort zone. Whether it's losing your job, a market crash, an unexpected medical bill. And when that happens, if you've never taken any steps to prepare for such times, you're going to be forced to play by the rules of the game, which means you're going to be forced to go back into the rat race. Now here's the thing. The longer you stay in the rat race, the harder it becomes to break free, because the more comfortable you become with the status quo. Take this example. Let's say you're in a toxic relationship that makes you miserable, but despite that, you still stay in it. Now imagine you decide to finally break up. All of a sudden you're out in the dating scene trying to meet new people. At first it's awkward. You're out of practice. Haven't done this in a while. But because you broke up with the toxic relationship, you're now open to meeting someone new. But because you were in that relationship for so long, now it's going to take some time to adjust to being single again. The same is true to getting out of the rat race. The longer you stay in it, the harder it's to get out. Because the more comfortable you become with the status quo, the more difficult it's going to be to change. All right, reason no. 3. why most people stay in the rat race. Point no. 3 is buying time. V's, selling time. Now let me explain what I mean by that. One of the biggest differences between the poor and the rich is that the poor sell their time for money. That means that the majority of their waking hours, they're working for money. But the wealthy, the 1%, they bought back their time. They did this through smart investments, through systems, through hiring the right people around them. This allowed them to buy back their time. So if you want to escape the rat race, you need to understand this principle. Look, it doesn't matter if you're working for yourself or working for someone else. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's how we use that time that truly matters. All right, reason no, for why most people stay in the rat race. Point no. 4 is comparison culture. Listen, growing up, we were taught to compare ourselves to others, to compete with others. And sometimes that's a good thing, because it pushes us to perform better, to aim higher. However, when we start comparing and competing with others just to look good, to look successful, that is when it becomes dangerous. You see, when we start trying to look successful, we sacrifice our present happiness for future gains. Oftentimes, we're doing this without even knowing it. For example, you see someone post their fancy new car on social media, and you think to yourself, wow, I want that too. And because of that, you end up sacrificing your present happiness to get that future gain. But here's the thing. When you start making these sacrifices, you're essentially trading your present happiness for future gains. And the worst part about it is that you're not even sure if those future gains will ever come to fruition. You're just making these sacrifices based on someone else's post. That is a silent wealth killer. Here's another example. Let's say you have friends who went to a fancy university and now they're reworking for a fancy company, making 6 figures a year. And you think to yourself, I want that too. Because of that, you start sacrificing your present happiness. You cut back on vacations, on experiences, on going out with friends so that you can save up for your future goals. When you do that, you're essentially putting off living until you reach that certain level of success. But here's the thing. That level of success is relative. Someone else who's more successful than you will always have something that they want, something that they want to acquire, something that they want to achieve, meaning that you're never really going to catch up. And so when you start making these sacrifices just to keep up with the Joneses, you're essentially putting off living. You're sacrificing your present happiness for future gains that may or may not ever happen, and that is a silent wealth killer. All right, so what's the solution? How do we escape the rat race? Well, the answer lies in understanding that escaping the rat race is less about working harder and more about working smarter. Here's what I mean. First, focus on learning, acquiring knowledge, investing in your own education. By doing that, you increase your own value, which means you're able to command a higher salary. Second, focus on saving. Saving is critical because it gives you the ability to invest. And investing is important because it allows you to grow your wealth over time. Third, focus on creating value in other areas besides your job. Start a side hustle, start a business, create passive income streams. The reason why this is important is because it diversifies your income. And fourth, focus on building systems. Think about this. The real reason why the 1% are able to buy back their time is because they've built systems that allow them to do so. To build systems, you need to first define the outcome that you want. Once you have that, you need to identify the tasks that will lead you there. Then you want to automate those tasks as much as possible. Look, if you want to truly escape the rat race, you need to start thinking like the 1%. And the first step towards doing that is changing your mindset. It's no longer about looking successful. It's about becoming successful. So I challenge you to start focusing on what you can control on your own journey. Don't worry about what others think. Don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses. Focus on your own path. I promise you, if you stick to this path long enough, you'll eventually get there.